So here I'll show how to do this assembly drawing. After you have to make sure you save all the parts. After you have all the parts, you can come and do the assembly drawing. I can guess I erased that one that I did on the last one here. So I will show you how to do this. We'll start off with this rail, how to bring it in. So we'll go over here and you go to scomra.ca. Probably the easiest way. Okay, and then you go to grade 12 design. And I put the rail. I also put it in the folder in the Google area, but you can get it here under handouts. I put it under the handouts, and there's the rail right there. And then you can just it'll download under your downloads, and then you can use the rail to add it. Now, if you don't have the rail, it's okay too. You can draw all this without the rail. Okay, and then I go to my downloads. I go here, open, and wherever my downloads are. So not the CAT. So I gotta go look for my downloads. Harder than it looks. This PC downloads. Okay, and there's Stair projects there. I got a rail. So it's called rail, and you can open the rail up. And you can go Control C, enter, and then you can go into the project here, and you can start off if you want with the Control V, and then there's the rail you can add later on. Okay, let's start off with first I'd put the wheel and the axle on, so I would go over here and I'd turn all the dimensions off. So first I'd turn all these dimensions off. So now it's a little bit easier to work with, and I'd copy the axle. And I'll put it here, and I'm going to copy that wheel. So I'll actually put it in the right place too. I'll copy this wheel. So the wheel's going to go and it's going to hit. I'm going to grab it right there. It's going to come right onto here and it's going to hit right there. So it's going to even up over here. Okay. And then you go trimming some items. So you trim this, trim and trim. And let's take a look how this looks. Yeah, you have the one line, and you're going to add a line here for the key here, and then you're going to add a line on the other side for the key, if I'm not mistaken. And you're going to do a bit more trimming. You won't see. You're going to add a line here. This is a continuous line. Whoops. And that's where the key goes. And that line is definitely not in the right place. I can see it. So I'll switch it to the right layer. And I'll add that line, and these should both be in con, and then you can do some more trimming. So these both should be in con, which you have to erase this and this anyway, not that. This and this line has to be deleted. This line here is deleted, and that line over there is deleted. And there you have your wheel and axle together with the key. Now comes the hard part, because now come these pillow blocks before the cover. So we're going to bring in these pillow blocks. I'm going to copy them both. So I'm going to copy this pillow block and this pillow block. One goes on one side and one goes on the other. The trick is which one goes on which side. Okay, so the bigger hole one, the one with the bigger hole goes on this side, and the smaller hole goes on here. Now, how do you line it up? So let's take a look at our diagram here. So it's lined up. So the very edge, see this very edge where the thing lines up with this line right at the center. So over here, I'm going to move this, all of this except for that one center line. I'm going to zoom right in, right here, that midpoint right there, and I'm going to put it right on this line here. See where I'm going to put it where the two lines crisscross right there. So that's the one here. Okay. So we got the one on the one side. Now we have to actually mirror this one. So we need it the other way. So we're going to mirror this one. And you go, yes, you want to erase it. And we're going to move the same place. I'm going to put it right on that line, the edge. So we're going to move all this, but we don't need that middle center line. We do need these two center lines in this. And we're going to move it right. We're going to zoom in that outside line right there. And we're going to put it right there. So it fits in there. That's that so far. Okay, next. So we almost got it here. We got to put the cover on. So there's the cover. So you go copy the cover. So we'll just copy this cover over here. And we need 2 copies. We got to mirror it because it's the same cover on both sides. And we'll mirror this cover this way. Okay, and we'll move the cover over so it's in line. And now I'm just going to move this cover so it fits. So I'm just going to, if I've done this properly, okay, this corner of this cover right here will go right on there and it'll fit nicely on both sides here. And then there's a lot of trimming that gets involved here. So I have to trim, like, I have to trim this line here. Okay, oh, on the other side. Lots of trimming involved. And there's another line. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to trim like this line all the way up. So I'm gonna have to, maybe if I erase that line, I don't know how far, maybe I'll trim. Oh, I lost a bit of that line over here. Luckily for me, I can just adjust this here. Whoops. Okay, so I lost, trim too much there, but it involves a lot of trim. I see why. Because this line's supposed to come all the way up. I see that line's supposed to go. So it just involves a lot of trimming and looking at this carefully. So I also have to trim this here, and now I can erase this line. It involves a lot of trimming, so I think I've got this done. Here you got to trim. I forgot to trim some items, so here you got to trim a bunch of lines, and same down here. Oh, we got too much here. So down here you got to trim like all these. And then there's some trimming in here as well. Oh, this line here on this side and the line on the other side. Something was off because that should have extended up to there. So we do some trimming here and same on this side. We're going to bring that cover in. So we just move this cover. And do the same thing. We're going to move it and put it right there. And then we have to do a ton of trimming on this side, same as we did over on this side. And probably still have to trim some items. Okay, in here we put an X. So when we're done all the trimming, you just take the hatch layer and put an X on this side. So put from here to here. And we need another X from here to there. And you do the same on the top. I'm not going to go into everything. And then the same here, you can do a lot of trimming and be careful. You're going to get this wheel assembly. Now, we don't need this. The bolts. So I assume now you know how to find the bolts, how to go to the website or how to go to my website and get the bolts. What else do I have there? So we got the rail, the plane. You can get the bolts from here, hardware blocks. I can also give you the grease nipple that goes on the end. So I'll also give you the piece that goes on the end. I'll put it the same place where that rail is. So you can grab it and you can put this piece, see this piece at the very end. I'll add that piece also where the rail is. So you can add it. You should be able to find the bolts. Look, you have to erase a few things here. So you'll have to erase some of the items here, like these items, and rehatch some things. So you'll have to erase like all this and then rehatch a few items and make the hatch go the other way. Okay, and then you just fiddle until you get this, just playing with it. Okay, how do you get this part? So after you finish this, okay, after you finish this, you're going to have to erase a lot of items in here. So you're going to have to go in here and do a lot of deleting and to make it look like that. The question is, how high is that from here to here? So you erase this, you're going to erase a bunch of items in here, right? And you have to do some trimming. So it's basically this trimmed to get to here. Okay, but then the people ask me, well, how do you know the height from here to there? So how do you know this height? Well, this height is actually given in, it's this height right here. So it's actually given in this drawing. So let's take a look here. It's 4 inches. So it's 4 inches from here to here is 4 inches from that drawing. Okay, so you fiddle with this drawing to make it look like this with a bunch of trimming and bringing some lines down and erasing some of the items that were hatched. To get this, okay, this one's actually not too bad. It's actually easier. You just have to line it up. You will have to take, again, you turn the dimensions off. So you turn these dims off, and you will have to copy this. So you're going to copy this. Okay. You're going to copy the cover here. And you're going to put the cover on top. Maybe with not so many center lines. We've got tons of center lines there. So you're going to copy this cover here. And then you're going to end up copying the wheel and doing a lot of trimming. And then you copy maybe just the outside of the wheel. And then you're going to end up doing a lot of trimming after you do all that. You can do a bunch of trimming and you'll end up with this drawing. And then you should know where to get the hardware blocks here. So to get these bolts here, you should know where to find these bolts. It's the same place as before, the end of the hardware. It tells you the size. So if you turn the dimension on, okay, it tells you the size of that hardware. Where is it? 3/8 inch gasket, 3/8 inch gasket, 2x2 pillow block, 1/4 inch nipple cover, pillow block. Okay, 3/4 inch bolts. So they're right there, the number item 6. And then you should know how to put the item numbers. This is a good start. If you have any questions with anything, you ask me and I'll produce some more videos.